timeline of Sean Diddy Combs' lawsuits. It starts in 1991. So what do they say? They say in 1991 is the first instance of Diddy being involved in a settlement. It says, a fledgling producer in the New York's music industry, Combs, then 22, so this is the first instance, helped promote a celebrity charity basketball event at City College. That included the rapper Heavy D. So Heavy D is the first instance that we have of this. And when I quote some of these larger news outlets, one thing that I've learned in my profession, especially being in crisis communications, having a legal background, is that they cannot put this stuff out unless it's been fact checked, because they have the ability to be sued. And we've learned that with the Trump stuff over the past few years. But let's go back to the Heavy D scenario. It says a surging crowd for the oversold game led to a stampede that resulted in deaths of 9 people and injured more than 24 others. Sounds like something familiar. Has Astroworld entered the chat? Do you guys remember Astroworld with Travis Scott and people getting trampled? I mean, as an artist, how do you control that? But as somebody that organized the event, gotta have insurance, right? This is where the bodies start to pile up around the Diddy name. There's wrongful death and personal injury lawsuits, and they did not settle this until 2000. This occurred in 1991, and the last of the lawsuits involving Diddy were settled for an undisclosed amount. Pay attention to those words, they seem to be a common theme. Fast forward. Here in 99, Combs was arrested on felony charges in New York and accused of beating rival record executive Steven Stout after a reported dispute over a music video scene in which Combs was nailed to a cross. Combs later apologized and asked the Manhattan district attorney to drop the charges. So this is criminal, guys. But Combs reportedly agreed to pay Stout $500,000. So this is your second instance of a settlement where he actually discloses the amount. The first time there was no amount disclosed. So let's see what they keep saying about Stout here. They said in another alleged altercation, Roger Mills, now we have someone else, a Detroit-based cable TV host, accused Combs and his entourage of attacking him after he refused to sell Combs a video interview in which he was asked about his involvement in the 1997 unsolved killing of bad boy artist Christopher Wallace, known by the stage names of Biggie Smalls and the Notorious B.I.G. So the reason why Diddy's people beat this guy up is because he's just like, hey, can y'all talk about poor reporters, man? Diddy, do y'all want to talk about what happened to Biggie? And Diddy's people are like, no, man. Like, they just start beating him up. And Diddy settled. One, Diddy did not want to talk about Biggie, so he sicked the goons on this guy, allegedly. We're still in the second lawsuit. I want to see how all of this is connected. In 2001, Mills sued Combs. He alleged assault, false imprisonment, and destruction of property. A spokeswoman for Combs denied the claims and accused Mills of a blatant attempt to exploit Mr. Combs' celebrity for media attention. The case went to trial, and a 2004 jury ruled in favor of Combs on all counts. Okay, this is actually the first case that Puffy won. Let's give Puffy 1, all right? We're gonna give him 1 on this timeline. He won this case. Finally, at the end of 1999, Combs was engulfed in controversy with an arrest in which he was accused of criminal possession of a weapon after shooting at a nightclub. Combs was at a nightclub with then-girlfriend J-Lo and the rapper Shine, whom witnesses said they saw fire a gun into the crowd. This is your evidence. Witnesses said they also saw Combs with a weapon. So apparently Diddy was packing. Shortly after the incident, police pulled over Combs and Lopez and said that they have located a firearm inside of the car. Shine was arrested. Shine was convicted in 2001 on 2 counts of assault, reckless endangerment, and gun possession. And he was later deported to Belize. Combs was acquitted of the weapons and bribery charges. A multi-million-dollar lawsuit filed by 3 people that were injured in the shooting was settled for an undisclosed amount in 2011. Combs declined to comment about the agreement at the time. So this one's half and half. Criminally, he wasn't liable. But civilly, these people were like, hey, did you shoot me or whatever? He did a settlement with them. So this is why it's like interesting, because there's times where he settles and there's times where he gets off or he wins. So there's that. I did skip one, so I'm going to go back to 1995. It seems very small, but is going to add to the narrative. In 1995, a limousine driver named Bobby Lemon said he was beaten by bodyguards Combs hired to protect Mary J. Blige. Lemon said the guards punched and kicked him backstage at a concert as they tried to clear the area, and accused Combs of having failed to properly train his security. Lemon won the suit by default because Combs did not appear in court. His spokesperson said he didn't know about this lawsuit. Couple things. Mary J is supposed to be protected, and she was one of the biggest female R&B artists at that time. That's his job, to protect her. There's something called service of process, where if I sue you, dear viewer, I sue you, my lawyers are going to draft documents and they're going to run somebody over to your lawyers or to you and say, you have been served. So you know that you are going to court. Apparently, Diddy was served, but didn't know and did not show up to court. So a default judgment was entered. That means if you don't show up or if we don't get any responses to you, sometimes judges will just do that. Be like, all right. Apparently, Diddy did get wind of it because it went on appeal, but they did require him to pay the $450,000. So that's another L. Okay, so I needed to go back to 1995. We're going to talk about Kim Porter, who was Diddy's ex-girlfriend. Looks like they were never married, but she is the mother of one of his children. She sued him for additional child support for their then 3-year-old son. They eventually got a settlement for that in family court, and then they co-parented their 4 children together, and Porter died in 2019. I don't even know why they have that in here, to be honest with you guys. Like, if we're looking at Diddy's cases, I do think you need to leave family and divorce stuff out of this, because if you're talking about his legal implications with businesses and criminal stuff, I want to see that. Granted, there's some rumors with Kim Porter. There's some videos floating around there. Let's go to 2007. A former consultant, James Sabatino, sued Puffy, this is the biggest one yet, for $19 million, alleging that Combs failed to pay him in full for a recording that he made of Biggie in Miami in 1994. In 2007, you came to court for something that happened in 1994. Big was gone in 1997, and you're still trying to find a way to get your money. And you went to Bad Boy. I mean, this suit was dismissed in 2009. Interesting. Separately, Sabatino was at the center of a fraudulent article involving Combs and the slain rapper Tupac Shakur that faced the LA Times to retract a bombshell story in 2008. This consultant was a little shady. News outlets very rarely retract stories unless they find that the stories are false, because when they are produced and shared amongst the public, you are now putting that news outlet at risk of being sued for publicizing libel, slander. So here it looks like Diddy might have another win. And it's all around the Tupac and Biggie thing. First, this guy is saying he had a full recording of Biggie. Now he's also at the center of a fraudulent article with Pac in it. Going to another person in 2007. Diddy's been busy, man. Gerald Rassinger, a partygoer in LA, said Combs punched him in the face when he was leaving the Oscars hotel event and caused him to fly backwards several feet. He claimed in the lawsuit that Combs pushed his girlfriend. An attorney for Combs disputed the complaint as just another example of an opportunist seeking to fabricate a lawsuit. Another settlement was reached in 2008. The terms and the amounts were not disclosed. I'm trying to get a feel. Does he settle when things get really hot to turn people away, or does he settle when he actually did something? Down to 2010, Francesca Sparrow, a music executive in her 50s, sued Combs for age discrimination. Dang, now we're getting at grannies. Saying that she was fired after her having worked for him since 1998. The company denied that she was let go because of her age. And again, Combs settled the multi-million-dollar suit in 2011. This lady got paid more than $1 million for age discrimination. But notice that some of these themes, like some of them are criminal, some of them are civil, but I'm finding that a lot of them are against the business itself and Bad Boy. I just wanted to go through this so you guys can see that legally Puffy's had some challenges. A lot, apparently, a lot. Now, we have another one, 2011, paparazzo. Gustavo Garces filed a suit in which he said Combs' bodyguards, see, this is not even Diddy, this is his bodyguards, assaulted him on New Year's Eve as he took a picture of him outside of the Dream Hotel in Miami. A settlement was reached in 2017, 6 years later, in which Garces agreed to receive $35,000 in exchange for releasing Combs, his bodyguard, and their insurance company for liability. Businesses have liability insurance. That one looks like an insurance settlement. I don't think that Diddy's attorneys did this themselves. I think it was they got smart, that they knew that they needed to have business insurance. Because like you're a paparazzi person, you're putting a camera in people's faces, like you've got to have insurance for that. But those paparazzo people get a little crazy sometimes. All right, we're almost to today's time. Let's go to 2017. Cindy Ruda, Combs' personal chef in 2015. Ruda said Combs told her to cook a post-Scioto meal. Oh my God. And wanted to know whether she was attracted to his naked body. Diddy is wild. I mean, I think this is around the time of the freak offs. So, you know, he would get it popping or whatever, and you should be like, hey, can you bring me some food during the freak off? And then after that, are you attracted to my naked body? Like, I do think that Diddy would get lit. Like, I've seen videos of him lit, and he does look like he's a wild boy. Let's keep going. Ruda was fired in 2016, and a spokeswoman for Combs described her as a disgruntled ex-employee. She settled with Combs in 2019. The terms were not publicly disclosed. So again, you get some of these settlements where you don't know how much money these people got. And with the woman that was the chef bringing food to the freak-offs, she got paid. But Cassie comes out last week, and now all of a sudden this chef has resurfaced. Do they just want money? What is this? Okay, 2022, so last year, there was a former nanny working for Combs, Raven Wales Walden. She filed suit for wrongful termination since she told Combs she disclosed her pregnancy in 2020. She also said she was a niece of Kim Porter's. Woo! In response, filed later this year in LA County Superior Court, Combs denied that she is Kim Porter's niece and that she was discriminated against. A spokesman for Combs called the suit, which continues, a meritless shakedown to extort money from Mr. Combs. So it sounds like this group, this team is prepared for these cash grabs and shakedowns. The thing is though, attorneys that file this stuff without proof are putting their own legal licenses at risk. I would never do it if I was licensed. Like, you can get in real trouble as a lawyer for filing baseless claims. So it's just interesting though, but a lot of these, I think we're at 70% of what we've read so far where these have settled out. The last one is Cassie's lawsuit, which included explosive allegations that Combs punched her, stomped her, kicked her over the face, all types of stuff. Starting in 2017, it spanned over a decade, so 10 years. She announced a suit, and then she had stayed silent for years, but was finally ready to tell her story and speak up on behalf of herself and for the benefit of women who face violence and abuse. The lawyer for Combs said in the decision to settle, especially in 2023, is in no way admission of wrongdoing. So the lawyer is basically saying they are not admitting that Diddy admits to any wrongdoing, but they also settled. If you go through that timeline, that's a lot of settlements. So what do you guys think?